Some apps make me feel fine. It's Wednesday, August 7th in the United States and Canada, noon on the nose. This is What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Use promo code WhatChaos for a first deposit match up to $100. My name is Pete Blackburn. That is Sean DePaz, and over there is Pete Blackburn. Hi, boys.
Hey, hi.
Hey. It sounded like you said some eps make me feel good and not summer eps.
Summer eps, I didn't do great on summer.
Some apps also make you feel good.
Some eps make me feel good, specifically all of them.
Changes the whole vibe of the message, though.
I recently learned that it's disrespectful to salute with your right hand. So not much.
Where'd you learn
did
that?
you
From
learn
the
that from the
Olympics?
Twitter
You were
video?
watching sports.
Been watching
You little dork.
lots of sports.
Yeah.
So I
It's-
saluted with my left hand today.
You know what's so cool right now? We're just like inhaling sports and politics.
Yeah,
Like
man.
men. Isn't that cool?
It is.
That's right.
The Olympics rock, dude. I love them so much.
I had my first real like Olympics weekend this past weekend because I like rented a house with friends, and when you wake up at 9 a.m. and you're like how do you even start a day after the
Sports.
night you just had last night? And you're like, oh shit, the Olympics on TV at
Beach
9
volleyball.
a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing beats sports on TV at weird times.
Especially sports that you don't really
Don't really care about.
But then I got so invested in beach volleyball. It's like awesome. US rocks.
I did not realize that there was like a swimming event where they just straight up swim for 15 minutes straight. I did not know that, and it gave me the worst anxiety watching it. I was like, how does anybody do this? This is the most impressive athletic feat I've ever seen in my life. And how does anybody even want to do this? I would be so afraid of drowning the entire time.
Did you see?
I know they're good at swimming, but I would still be afraid of drowning.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
there's
mean-
no way they're going to drown.
No, I mean, training you might drown.
Yeah.
If you drown as a professional swimmer, that's probably
right.
You know what's
probably
funny
that
is
time.
being an Olympic lifeguard.
Yes. Those people are so
That's
funny
very
to me.
funny.
I
What
think
a
that
job.
all the time about like people who are spotting the heaviest lifters. What are you going to fucking do?
Well, I mean,
if
that's,
they can't do it, you can't.
yeah, I mean, but that makes sense in the sense that like you need someone there to take some of the weight off. But like, if I'm the swimmer and I'm drowning, do I want this random lifeguard or do I want like Katie Ledecky to jump in the pool and save me? It's probably one of the other professional swimmers.
Right.
Did you see the woman who won the American woman who won the gold in the road bike race?
Yes.
She's
Yes.
awesome. She started biking 7 years ago
Crazy.
in Central Park as a hobby, and then decided, I want to be a professional bike rider, and then was there for the indoor racing. The woman who had the spot for the U.S. in the road race decided to give it up so she can focus on another race. And so this woman was like, "Yeah, I'll do
It's a
it."
fill-in.
A
The
fill-in.
substitute teacher that
And-
won Olympic gold.
And she said that if like partway through the race she wasn't like didn't have a chance at a medal, she was just going to drop out because she wanted to focus on road racing. Just one gold.
It's incredible. Did you watch that whole thing? Because I was watching that
Most of
on
it.
like Sunday morning, whenever it was, Saturday morning. And I was watching, and I took like a 20-minute break to do something else. And the 20 minutes previous, there was a completely different like trio of leaders.
Yeah.
And then I came back to watch the end of it, and the American won. And the American was nowhere to be found
it
like
was-
25 minutes earlier.
It's crazy because like I'm like not in the world of road racing bikes, so I don't know anything about it. Like they like communicate with each other. Like they have people in cars following them, communicating with them, and they said that
Yeah.
the crowd was so loud there that they had to write messages on water bottles and hand them to them and exchange them, which is just like just get radios or something? Like what?
Oh,
We're in
there's
the
so
21st
much
century.
technology that
There's
exists.
so
Yeah.
much
that you could be
technology.
Yeah, I don't really
using.
understand what's going on there.
Project your messages on like on something.
I like they're like kind of like scribbling stuff. Though.
Yeah, but the woman was just like they like work together with like opposing racers to like draft off each other, and like if one has more energy than the other, like they'll swap spaces to like close the gap with the leaders. And that's what happened with the woman who won. And then at one point they came around this turn, she's just like deuces losers, and just fucking took off.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was the Turkish shooter after last week's episode or before? Did we miss?
Before, I
We
believe.
screw that up.
I think it may have been like if it was after, it was like a day or two.
I think it was
so
before
because of how they air the Olympics. Maybe it had already
Yeah,
happened. It just
yes.
hadn't aired yet. Maybe
no, they
Sean.
air the Olympics live. That was a big deal with this year's Olympics, is they show them live and then they re-show them in the evening.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I've been
With
watching
Mike
a lot of
Tirico.
shit in the evening that I know ain't live.
Yeah.
It had to be after because we definitely would have talked about it.
I feel like we did because we talked about some of the
shooting.
shooting sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
we
guess
did.
that's fair.
And we literally talked about the Korean woman, I think it was,
yes.
who is like all kitted out and like
Yes.
badass,
Right.
That's-
and the
I feel-
Turkish guy just raw dogged it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say, even as an Armenian, like the Turkish guy, just being like amazing.
Yeah, he was. I think he was like Turkish military police or something like that. And then he was just like,
So what the fuck does he have to like do all these calculations
he's like-
for? He's like, you know what I got? 10,000 hours.
and also I wonder like if he had all that stuff, would it have just been like an app? Like would he just boat raced everybody? Because he got silver.
right.
Like if
Yeah.
he had all the
Or would it have thrown him off his game? Would he have been over analyzing himself? Like you said, he raw dogged it. He trusted his intuition. He got silver. It's not bad. Chat's confirming that happened after. So
Okay.
that's what I thought. But it was very like soon after.
It happened after and aired after. So we've got a super chat from John Evans. Can't watch live today, but keep on trucking, fellas. Take care of yourselves and happy birthday, Sean.
I wonder who he's talking about.
Speaking of guns,
Definitely not me.
Sean is kind of in the crosshairs this morning because we learned a fun fact about Sean. Typically, when we come to the stew, somebody grabs coffees for the gang. And Pete this morning was grabbing the coffee, said, "Hey, what does everyone want? I'm talking coffee." Sean said, "I haven't had coffee in like 2 months."
Basically,
I'll
since
have
the
one.
show ended.
So you only do coffee because of us?
Not really.
That was my first thought. I was like, are we forcing Sean to do drugs?
The answer to that is yes, because I do remember in the beginning of the show you were like, "Whoa, this is a lot of coffee."
you guys drink a ridiculous, like you specifically DJ. I feel like drink a ridiculous amount of
definitely
coffee.
DJ.
I drink the most coffee.
I always drank coffee, but I've been drinking like tea every single day. Well, English
so you
breakfast,
haven't
yeah.
you haven't completely gone off caffeine.
No, I just I've been drinking.
I do
a lot
know
of
you're a
tea
tea guy.
I'm a
I
huge
did-
tea guy.
I did.
I'm a
tea-
recreational coffee guy. You're like the hardcore.
But I
coffee
think part of
guy.
the difference is that I don't like. I'm not leaving my house when I do it, and so like I'm in like my cool apartment and stuff like that. So I'll drink hot
You got
tea.
a cool apartment.
Yeah, shut up.
Shout out,
Hey,
he's
hey,
living in the
why'd you
Arnold
even come in
apartment.
here where you could just be in a cool
My
apartment?
temperature cool apartment. My apartment is
Damn,
the size of our
that's a
bathroom
cool
here.
apartment. Fuck, I didn't know you had it like that, Sean. That's a cool.
I
apartment.
wish.
I would love to like self-describe my apartment as like, oh, I've got a cool apartment.
Hey, look.
I've never lived in a cool
I
apartment.
know we've kind of hit a couple spots, but like it's not too late.
I got a cool apartment. You guys want to come
I got
back?
a cool apartment.
My
If-
apartment is not cool.
use the correct consent words and everything, but like I got a cool apartment if you'd want to go hang for a little bit. It's cool.
Sean, is the friend's apartment cooler than your apartment?
my friend that lives here.
No, like the
Like
Friends
Monica's
TV
apartment.
show.
Oh,
Yeah, Monica
Yeah.
and Rachel.
my apartment's not cool.
It's, I mean, not from what you said 2 minutes ago.
It's
story's
like
changing.
nice 75 degrees.
Sean's moving the goalposts.
backtracking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking. Oh, having a cool apartment. That's pretty great.
I feel like I've missed the cool apartment stage of my life.
You did, but your life circumstances forgive missing a
Fair.
cool apartment stage.
But yeah, I still think I would have tried to. I don't know.
My apartment, I would say my first apartment in Phoenix was very cool because it was right in downtown Phoenix because I was paying for it with student
Was the
loans.
apartment cool or was the location cool?
It was cool because it had a balcony that overlooked downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
And I loved that.
I'm a
I
big
loved
balcony
having
guy.
a
I've gone-
Oh my god. Being
I've
able to
gone-
go outside without going outside.
I'm old enough to have gone in and out of the cool apartment. Like I've like gone from not cool apartment to not cool apartment and just bouncing
you had
around.
a very cool apartment during the pandemic.
Yes. So like that was probably the coolest
That was a cool
apartment I've had. And it was so cool that even though I didn't have the dough, I was like, I think I'm just gonna like go to my landlord and be like, name your fucking price. And when I went to my landlord to talk to him, he was like, I'm glad you want to talk to me. My daughter's gonna live in this apartment. You absolutely gotta go.
Respect.
Ideally not to a cooler apartment. Go to a not cool apartment. So
Yeah, my apartment.
me in that
I don't
place.
think I'm ever going to live in a cool apartment again.
Because you're planning on staying here.
No,
do you
I
work
just
a little harder and get us to where we need to be, Sean?
I can't afford a cool apartment. Oh my God, Matthew is exactly right. I lived in Roosevelt Point in downtown Phoenix. That's crazy.
Oh, I was
And
going to say,
no,
you just get doxxed in your current appointment.
If Matthew had been like called
been
out my
so
current
concerning.
apartment,
No, I know
would've
Sean's
been a little
apartment.
concerned.
It is cool.
My apartment is not. The complex is cool. I would like to have a room, like more than a single room.
So you got a cool apartment with a really just
Open floor
needy, no, just like an occupant who just it's never enough.
All I'm hearing is
I
that
just-
John's got a
room.
cool open floor plan.
I
just
have
no rooms.
A incredibly tiny studio apartment, and I think even my cat knows it's small because she'll like
Baby
sit-
doesn't think it's cool.
No, she'll like sit outside of my bathroom and just meow because she wants like another room to go to.
Guy says that he doesn't have any rooms in there. Sounds like he's got a bathroom.
I do have a bathroom. That's the one room.
Yeah, man, apartments hit, and
I hate living in apartments. I would do anything to live in a house.
do you? I go back and forth.
Again, I would just do anything to have like a bedroom that's separate from my kitchen.
I don't know if you know this about DJ, but like he reads like finance books, reads books about managing your money.
Mm.
Told me one time, was like, the guy that I trust that writes all these finance books says never buy a house.
Ramit
Worst-
Yes,
Sethi.
that I know.
worst investment.
Yeah.
that you
I would
can
never
make.
buy a house. Well, I mean, maybe if I was like rich, I'd buy a house because at that point I'm just doing it not for the investment. But I would, yeah.
No, he's just saying straight up, don't have a house. Pete, you need to relinquish your inherited house.
Live on the street.
You just don't. It's bad money. The house that you have.
Owning
Just gotta
a house
get
is
rid of
cool
it.
though, because you can do anything that you want to.
Yeah,
Give it a
I would
Devin.
You can
love to
do
like.
some fucking weird shit.
I would just like to like mount my TV.
So
you could do that.
Yeah,
in a
oh,
rental
you would do that.
apartment.
Yo, I've mounted TVs in apartments.
They would thank you. They'd be like, "Oh, you did this work for me."
Property value.
Well, no, I would have to take it all off, and then I would lose.
Oh, no,
could-
you gotta
could-
give him
you
the
could-
TV.
You could leave the mount.
But I would want the mount for my next place, and then I would have to pay.
Sounds like
they-
he's been
You're
reading
still
money
gonna have
books.
to mount it again.
Yeah, but I don't think that's how apartments work. Like they're not gonna just leave the mount there for the next person. They would take it out, and then I
If I
would
moved
lose
into an
part of my
apartment, there
security
was a
deposit.
mount. I'd be pretty thankful. I'd be like,
Mm.
damn, I could just hang my TV.
Johnny
here.
Lazarus in the chat. What up, baby? We love you. My thing is, and it sucks, but I've just come to know this about myself. I need space. Like I would
Yes.
love, honestly, I would love to live in a very small space because I like being kind of forced out of the apartment. That's always been my thing because if you're hanging around the apartment for a little bit, it just turns into bedtime all the time. And as a person who's got something known as depression, you can't just be in bed all day. You can't be on the couch all day. Even in the playoffs, I was doing the walking pad and everything just to like not be doing the same thing all the time. I got guitars and shit, and I need different spaces for doing everything. Like I have a space where that's like my office where I'll edit shit and I'll work on stuff. Even if it's just like coming up with ideas, I'll just fucking sit in this space and do it there. But if I want to sit around playing guitar, theoretically, you could just do it in the same space or in the living room. No, you need another room to do that. I sit and play guitar in another room. So at some point, I should probably want to have a house, but I don't want one.
I really like your apartment. Like I would.
Sean,
I mean, it wasn't really a compliment. You didn't build it.
Cook his ass.
so this is, I was talking about like great moments in my group text where if something is particularly amazing, every member of the group text will put the same emoji on it. And that's like the ultimate sign of respect. If you had done that, this is an example of like that level of he got my ass so fucking bad. Sean, what's it like to host the show now?
Hey, I've done it before. Not this show, but I've hosted shows before. I just like that you have. I would just kill for a single other room. I would love to have a slightly.
Sean, we're getting you
larger
paid this year.
Sean, I need to talk to some people, but just fucking live with me, man. Just just stay over a lot.
You have too many rooms. You have too many rooms. I haven't been to your apartment in a while. Last time I was at your apartment, like unused rooms.
There were unused rooms. Now, dude, if I needed to like host a small music festival in my apartment, I could do it.
Not if Chappelle Roan was there, because boy, you see the picture
Or
from
Tate
Lollapalooza.
McRae.
This?
Did you see picture Tate McRae posted at
No.
Lollapalooza? I think people were just hanging out there, like
what do you
heads.
mean?
I'll find the picture.
Like a lot of people?
Heads.
Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. The age group of people that do go to Lollapalooza trend younger, and like I didn't realize Chappelle Roan had it like that. I knew that she's like the hot shit right now, but I didn't realize it was that hot.
Somebody, a musician, pointed this out to me. He was like, they were like, Chappelle Roan might not long term or whatever, but like right now, Chappelle Roan is kind of beating Taylor Swift at her own game.
I mean, she knocked Dead Poets Society, or not Dead Poets, Jesus.
Tortured Poets Department.
Dead Poets Society would be a cooler name.
Yeah,
she knocked it off the top spot.
but like it's kind of similar sound, mixed similarly, very like vocal up kind of mixes. But and this is kind of the trick that Olivia Rodrigo does too. The songs are better. So like
Low bar.
low bar, yes, but I did get an email the other day. I tweeted about it. I got an email that was like 24 hours only, exclusive Tortured Poets Department pressing. And I'm like, what's going to happen in 25 hours? You're just going to keep putting out another one and another one and another one so you can always be at the top of the charts. And these are dots that have been connected by other people. Isn't it always when another girl's up at the top of the charts that these things drop?
Yeah, I saw somebody say that. And somebody predicted, they were like, look, here's first time in like so long that Taylor Swift hasn't been in the top 10. It was like, you will have something in 24 hours that Taylor Swift releases.
I feel like that's a pretty common criticism of her, is that she hates women.
You know what's weird?
Taylor, work with women. That like let's just start there. I like shout out Power Forward, my buddy Luke Bonner's company. Very big on pushing like the invest in women's sports kind of thing. Like Taylor, invest in women's music.
I had a fairly like, I don't want to say uncultured.
Odd parents?
Meaned. Yes, fairly odd parents. No, I had a like fairly like uncultured friend. Still have a friend. Still a really great friend. He
best man material.
He recommended Chappelle Roan to me like 4 years ago. Yes. And I listened. It was Pink Pony Club, which like obviously unbelievable song. Recommended to me like 4 years ago, and I was like, how the fuck did you like find this person? And also now has become like a big movie recommendation guy to me. So like I don't know when. It doesn't happen often. I feel like it happens way less than normal. It's like you get into late stage like being tastemaker stuff.
Yeah.
He like has really impressed me.
So I heard of like Chaperone like a year and a half ago, and it was just like because like
2 months ago.
Hey, this is the next person that Dan Nigro is working with, so this person's going to be popular.
It was like 4 years. It was mid-pandemic. I was still living in Quincy. He recommended Chappelle Roan.
That I think, isn't it Chappell Roan?
No idea.
Is it? I think it's Chappell Roan.
As far as I was concerned, she's
Chapel is in the church.
I've also like never listened to one of her songs.
Really?
I don't.
Oh man, you gotta listen to Pink Pony Club. That
Pink Pony Club,
is
and man,
incredible.
Like Hot to Go is cool.
I've seen a bunch of that. I've heard like parts of it. I've just never like sat down and actually.
It's not the greatest music, but for the demographic it's serving, it's like, trust me, it's better than the alternatives.
I mean, she's like early Taylor Swift territory where I don't have a problem with her because no one's made me have a problem with her yet. Just don't. As long as people don't be weird about her, I won't have a problem.
So you're saying you're not going to have a problem with her. Why do you hate women?
I
see that's the Taylor Swift. I was doing the Taylor Swift thing, so now you're forced to have a problem. It's wedding bells for David Pasternak. Hey, everybody. David Pasternak famously got married. Congratulations
Hell
to
yeah.
him. Tori Krug and David Krejci were in the wedding party. Amazing stuff. Obviously, the pictures were just going to completely bang because David Pasternak, I still remember talking to David Pasternak, like a month after he was drafted, wearing a cool suit that he said was like cheap off the streets of Czech Republic. And he was like, I can't wait till I can buy 6 suits. I love suits. And he's become the fashion guy of the NHL.
He's
what's up, my man?
good. Like, he's so good at fashion.
This motherfucker don't miss. And he's worked in the hats in a non-tacky way. It's just, he's the best.
Do you think that he knows good fashion people? Or does he curate like his own?
All those people have people. And you'd be
I know that
stupid
they all
to not have
people,
a
but
person.
like you give them instructions. Like when we were talking to, who was it? Who were we talking about?
Duclair?
Yeah, Dookie. Yeah. Anthony Duclair. We were talking with, like, do you give suggestions? Do you tell them what to do? And he was like, I give like light suggestions. So I'm more curious if Pasternak is I think that he has weird enough taste that he might give like weird instructions.
I feel like it's a matter of openness. Like I feel like if you got a good fashion person, they probably have crazy ideas, and he's just willing to do it.
So that's an excellent point. Where almost like actors, where it's like, well, you think Adam Sandler's funny. It's not like he's right, even though he writes a lot of his stuff. But it's like, you think this comedic actor is funny. Well, somebody else is writing the jokes.
Delivery
they're taking
matters.
the project and they're delivering it, and like their willingness to, in any sort of like creative thing, if you don't give yourself to it and you can't kind of wrap your head around it, you're probably not going to do it as well as you could. So that's a great point where like he knows some out there plugged in people, and his willingness to do it is why he fucking serves so hard in it. He looks amazing. His yellow thing at the All-Star game, incredible. He always looks, and just like his facial hair always works. So congratulations to him and his bride. I believe I forget her name. I believe it's Rebecca.
He
Can
did
we get
David
crunch?
Pasternak's wife thing.
Yes.
Not mentioning her by
Who
name.
hates women now?
Zach. I did Julie Ertz's husband.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm even. Because I don't know the football player's name. Sean, where are we on that name?
Working on it.
Oh boy. Ooh,
He's
this
tagged like
show is
everyone other than his wife in these pictures.
not beating the Doesn't Respect Women
Oh my God.
podcast allegations.
Let's see.
He
Hate this.
tagged like the wedding planner, the diamond people, the photographer, not his wife.
Is Pasternak's wife not on Instagram?
Good question.
I mean, that's starting the marriage off on a very bad foot, as if you're tagging everybody involved in the wedding except for your wife.
I was going to say it's starting the marriage off on a very sustainable foot if his wife is not on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
That's How I Met Your Mother does the olive theory, where someone's got to like olives, someone's got to not like olives. Someone's got
can't
to
have 2 social media people.
can't have
Rebecca.
2 people who are online.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, oh ho!
You were right.
Nice.
He knew.
you
What
go.
did he know?
Her name.
Amazing stuff. Famously, he kind of knew her name. But I said Tori Krug was in the wedding party. David Krejci was in the wedding party. Love it for Krejci. Love it for Pasternak because
How many best
Krejci,
men did he have?
well, if he actually had multiple best friends, then I would say that it would be appropriate if he had 2. If he risked having his best friend drop out of his wedding party, so his whole wedding, this person who is pretty image conscious is going to have people saying like, does David Pasternak not have a best friend? He seems like a nice guy. What happened to this guy? He didn't have to go through that, which is great. I would hate for anyone to go through that on their big day. But David Krejci, he idolized David Krejci to like be to the level of friends with David Krejci where now this is the same, like you used to follow me on Twitter, man, to be to the level of friends where like that guy's in my fucking wedding. That guy has lived his dreams. I hope you can too. Tori Krug as well. I love Tori Krug. Still, it doesn't surprise me.
Tori Krug still being one of the boys, the least surprising thing in the world.
Tori Krug, great guy. I always had so much respect for him. You've heard this story a million times, but like just I loved and he hated this, but I loved that he didn't win with that group. I wanted him to win with that group, but like as they were chasing stuff, I thought it was so fucking important that they had a solid dude and a leader who couldn't do the like, well, you know, if we only end up getting one, it's not the end of the world. Like he fucking needed that shit.
So you're saying, okay, now I understand what you're saying. You're like, you made it sound like you were glad that he never got one with the group.
No, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I thought that it was every time they were in the playoffs, and I tried to not bring it up to him too much. Like, dude, this could help that you kind of don't have the genes yet. Maybe. I don't know.
No, I love Torrey Krug. And like from a personal standpoint, he was like one of the first players that was like nice to me. And
Really?
so, yeah, like maybe it was because I was like, oh, you're short. I love you. But no, I fucking love that guy. And he's extremely nice.
Yeah. Johnny Lazarus still active in the chat.
We love that.
Talking about what he's had for lunch. Turkey burger, no bread with mushrooms and onion.
Whoa.
Turkey burger?
More of like if I'm not eating a beef burger, I'm more of like a bean burger. I love a good bean burger.
I don't
Never
like
had
beans.
one of those
Don't like
before.
beans.
Bad
Mushroom
taste. Terrible taste.
and onion. You on that high FODMAP diet? What are you doing, Johnny? Zach is Julie Ertz's husband.
Mhm.
None of us could think of.
Oh, you didn't know?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. I'm just supporting women.
Oh yeah,
Believe
Respect.
women, Sean.
I do
Okay.
most of the time.
So wedding bells for him, but the most important part, other than that he's married, which is great for his family. These
Where'd
are
you
the
get
Pasternak
those?
socks. I got these from the Bruins Pro Shop.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, these are the pasta socks. Amazing stuff. What's up, my man? Is that Leon Draisaitl not in the wedding party?
Famously.
So looking like the whole Draisaitl to Boston because he's friends with David Pasternak. Clearly either not, or maybe there was a falling out. Or maybe he was going to try to do some weird co-best men shit and Draisaitl dropped out.
That could be it. He was
Supposed to,
no,
yeah, he
thank
was
you.
the obvious choice for best men, and because of some weird crisis Pasternak was going through, he was like, "Oh no, I'm going to try to do the co-best men thing, even though I don't really qualify here." And Draisaitl was like, "You know what? Figure this out without me, man. I'm not coming to Boston."
Number one, the more times we get into the co-best men thing, like, there's more best men involved in the wedding.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
coming
starting
out
to dig your own
6 best
grave.
men.
that I don't hate.
I was gonna say, I feel like at a certain point, you
Well,
have to make a point,
bluff.
Pete.
I'm calling a
Yes.
bluff.
I'm gonna make 6 best men.
That I would. So I'll get
You may
back
not even
in.
be one of them at this point.
If you add best men, then I'll jump back in.
I think you should just not invite DJ at this point.
That would be
He would.
incredible.
So I'll call his bluff there. Don't invite me. He'd be fucked.
What do you mean I'd be fucked?
I think you'd be fine.
I think it'd be fine.
You'd be fucked.
I'd be sad, but I wouldn't be fucked.
You'd be.
Nobody gets fucked at their own wedding. That's
That
just-
is true.
That doesn't happen anymore. Number 2, the idea that Leon Draisaitl would want to come to Boston because David Pasternak is his friend is very funny to me
I
because
know.
Leon Draisaitl's best friend in the world is a player who nobody is better than.
Way better at hockey than David
Way
Pasternak.
better.
I guess the argument would be that that's why he would want to leave, though, is because he doesn't want to. He's
Jealous?
tired of being in the shadow, which I think is a ridiculous argument. But I think that's
You
the
think that
argument people
He
would
wants
make.
to be the best man and the best friend, like
I
the
think he
best
wants to be
player.
the best player. I think
Yeah,
would be the
I think
argument
he
that
doesn't
people
want to
would-
be the best.
I agree.
man.
I think it's a dumb argument, but I think that would be the argument that people would make about why he wants to leave.
Leon and Evgeny Malkin have the same vibe, which is like, I know how good I am. I do not need to be the best player on this team. And this guy next to me, he's way better than me.
Prime of their career, Malkin or Draisaitl?
Malkin.
Draisaitl.
Malkin fucking
rocks.
monster.
I've watched more Draisaitl than I did Malkin, so it's hard for me to say, I guess. But
Malkin was a monster.
speaking of which, happy birthday, Sidney Crosby.
Draisaitl's a monster too. Fuck, that's a tough
Wait,
question. but-
whose birthday?
Sidney Crosby,
Yeah.
Oh, it's August 8th?
37.
Or no, it's August, August 7th. He's 8/7/87,
Mhm.
famously.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I might have to go back and watch Prime Malkin stuff again, but I remember Prime Malkin being like an absolute fucking tank.
Well, when you watch, you can watch through some shady rays because those are the lenses I put before my eyes when I watch anything, when I read anything, when I do anything. These are the sunglasses that I choose to put upon my face. These are shades that are quality, built to last, and they got you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. In fact, they might even have, I'm not going to say might, I'm going to say probably have shades in your favorite team's color. Sean?
I can confirm. They also have like, I feel like Pasta specifically likes wearing those like wraparound glasses. He's got that famous picture of him. They have glasses like
Those
that
like
as well.
WWE glasses.
Yeah.
That's a better way of putting them. I was going to say the Ben Affleck Air glasses, but that's only like a 2-year-old reference, even though it's supposed to be a million years before. But Shady Rays, Shady Rays, they're a great product, but they're also just a great business model. They're great to deal with because, as you know, their replacement policy is amazing. If you're doing whatever, if you're hiking, you're swimming for 15 minutes, and they either take an unexpected hit or you lose them, don't worry. They've got the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. And if you don't love your shades, you can exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Unbelievable.
A lot of people.
Today's episode also brought to you by our friends from Lucy Nicotine. Me and Sean,
Big time.
Sean's actively
Yeah,
I got
hammering
you got
Lucy
one in.
right now.
I was about to put another one in because this one I've had in for a minute.
I haven't played golf in a little bit, so I haven't done Lucy, but it's become a staple of my golf routine. Lucy has 100% pure nicotine. It's always tobacco-free. It's available in pouches, gum, and our favorite, the Breakers. The Breakers are pouches, but the capsule of liquid flavor inside that helps saturate the pouch to make it a juicy Lucy. Breakers are available in 4 milligrams or 8 milligrams, and our favorite flavors are mint, berry citrus, and Sean's not an espresso guy because he doesn't like chocolate.
I don't like Sabrina Carpenter. I just popped in the what's it called? The apple ice. That's a good one. That's a nice mix between like the kind of like the minty.
I love any
flavor.
of the ice, like the cold, but I also do love the cinnamon, which is like a nice warming one. Just depends on the situation that you're in, but they got plenty of flavors for you. The pouches go all the way up to 12 milligrams. And if you're not a pouch guy or gal, Lucy Gum is available in 2, 4, or 6 milligrams. And you can set yourself up with a subscription and have Lucy delivered straight to your door. No more weekly gas station trips. And, you know, I went to a gas station, my local gas station did not have Lucy's. And
I mean, no point when people just order them online.
I can confirm, no point.
They cut out the middleman.
Not a comparison.
Middleman, gone. Sorry, gas man.
Can't compare. So if you want to level up your nicotine routine with Lucy, go to lucy.co/whatchaos and use promo code whatchaos to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. That's lucy.co using promo code whatchaos to get 20% off and always free shipping. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, the product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. I do want to add something. This is not part of the read. If you use Lucy or any other nicotine pouch, do not fucking spit it in urinals.
Oh my God.
Do not spit it in urinals.
Terrible behavior.
Can we place them in urinals?
You cannot.
Like a gum when you take it out of your mouth and then you put it in the urinal.
Don't put them in the urinals.
That's even worse behavior.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a urinal without a fucking nicotine pouch in it, and it's horrible behavior.
Just so inconsiderate.
That's right. It is extremely inconsiderate. It's extremely gross. It's ew, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. Any urinal that you're at has a trash can at like 3 to 5 feet away maximum.
It would honestly, and I'm not saying to do this, it would be better to spit it on the floor because at least they can just sweep that up.
Right. You don't have to reach
someone has to pick in, like go into the piss with their hands and pick it out.
It is so gross. I feel like men are becoming better. Like
some things, yeah.
Some things.
I agree.
In a general sense, becoming better. But God, The spitting the nicotine pouches into urinals has like regressed my faith in men.
You know what's cool? I bet a lot of women listeners and viewers had no idea. How could they know about that?
Yeah.
So they're probably just learning that, yes, urinals, which is for the men to throw their piss, often collect a bunch of other stuff. And it's not like it's fallen from the ceiling. It's all things that men, one way or another, are placing into the piss box.
The only women that probably do know about that are the ones that sometimes have to clean the fucking bathrooms after bars and stuff close.
And it does appear that we have a couple women in the chat who are quite surprised by this.
Yeah.
What Chaos Insider Johnny Lazarus says, I've never understood how pubes end up in a urinal. It's a good report from
I mean, no, he needs to go do an investigative report.
our
on how it
insider,
happens.
Johnny Lazarus. Johnny Lazarus also had a very good report the other day. Did you see that?
I saw the tweet from What Chaos, but I forget what the context was.
It was like, don't know how I went this long without knowing who Ana de Armas was.
Oh yeah,
Insane.
That's a good report.
First off-
That's a good clean good scoop.
First off, go watch Knives Out. I love that movie. And also,
Knives Out's awesome.
Ana de Armas.
Don't watch Deep Water or that movie with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. Horrible movie.
I also wasn't the what's the blonde woman? Why am I blanking on her name? The famous blonde woman.
The Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, wasn't that awful?
I heard that
that
awful
was
as well.
one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
That's what I've heard.
I think Ana de Armas needs to be a little bit more selective in her projects.
Yeah, the jury is back in with Ana de Armas on the. They good at this whole thing, which it was always my understanding, especially after Knives Out, that she rocked.
Going to be a real head-to-head competition in that category. She's starring in a movie with Sydney Sweeney coming up.
I don't want to tear down one woman to build up another one, but.
Ana de Armas. I'm saying that. I think
Not
I think
close.
I'm saying
Ana de
that
Armas.
they
No,
both
I'm just
kinda might
saying Ana
suck.
de Armas clears
Clears.
as
But
respectfully as
neither of
possible.
you watch Euphoria, right?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Sydney Sweeney is very good in Euphoria.
Oh yeah, no. Sydney Sweeney is beautiful, and I think if you say otherwise, you're just being a hater.
I'm telling
Right.
she's like a good actress in Euphoria.
Yeah.
I've never been impressed by Sydney Sweeney in anything else.
I was gonna say I've not seen Euphoria. I cannot believe Sydney Sweeney is a good actor. I've not seen Euphoria, but just from everything else I've seen, it's so bad that
She plays the role. I think everyone in that movie plays their role, or that show plays their roles incredibly well.
Yes.
Which kind of going back to our comedy conversation earlier, I think it's a matter of just being put in the right position.
Yeah.
okay.
Fair.
Well, speaking of,
But even if you're put in the right position, I think some of the things that Sydney Sweeney did and does on Euphoria, like you still have to be a good actress.
Yeah, I mean, like she like without spoiling it too much, like
her
the
meltdown.
breakdown that she
Yeah,
goes through
like,
is
unbelievable.
unbelievable. At that,
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite memes is the practicing the Borat
So
impression.
Yes.
so you know the scene. Like she has a bathroom meltdown in Euphoria, and like that scene is unbelievable.
But I'll tell you who steals the scene every time I see it
Borat.
is the guy doing the Borat impression.
I that is such a good meme.
That's a great meme format. We have been watching some movies. We both saw Trap, the new M. Night Shyamalan vehicle. And if you know about M. Night Shyamalan, he famously in 1999 made a movie called The Sixth Sense, and it had a twist, which, by the way, a friend recently watched Sixth Sense for the first time, not knowing the twist, and very quickly was like, I think I figured out the twist. And I was like, you probably did. And then at the end of the movie, they were like, yeah, so like that wasn't that good because
It's still a good movie, even if you do figure out the twist.
we rewatched it for the Tomato Fights project with Sean Evans. And do you remember what we did against? Tomato Fights is when you take two movies. It's copyrighted, so don't steal it. It's when you take two movies with the same Rotten Tomatoes score and discuss which is better. Do you remember what we had Sixth Sense up against?
No.
Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Chicago, to borrow a term, cleared.
I
Sean
disagreed.
Evans and I both
Yeah, I disagreed.
pretty strongly thought, like, you know what? Didn't see this coming. Chicago, better than The Sixth Sense. Anyway, for years, and he's made other movies such as Signs, but for years, M. Night Shyamalan has been trying to kind of chase
the
his
dragon.
rookie year. What's that?
Chasing the Dragon.
He's been making bad movies, trying to recapture his early magic and his early buzz. And discussed this with friend of the show, Dan Powers. And Pete and I have discussed it a million times. We're always going to go. Whenever he has a new movie out,
Yes.
it always kind of looks intriguing or even good. And we're always going to go opening night and see it. And it's usually going to be disappointing. I ride for the movie Old. Will you come along for the ride?
I know a lot of people that actively hated that movie, and I did not actively hate that movie. I thought that it was stupid, which all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies are pretty stupid at this point, but it's just whether or not it makes me angry. Old did not make me angry.
Sean.
Knock at the Cabin made me angry.
Yes. So that's that one, great trailer,
Yes.
spooked people, freaked people out. Terrible movie.
And like for the first half of it was an interesting movie.
We'll get to that
The second half of it, fucking horrendous. Never lands the plane.
So
they fail at landing a lot of planes in that movie. They just fall out of the sky.
Oh, that's right. The planes do end up falling. Before we move on to Trap, Sean, what is your experience with M. Night Shyamalan?
Huge Stuart Little fan.
Oh, that's right.
Did he do Stuart
Oh,
Little?
yeah.
Co-wrote
That's
it.
his, like,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Which is the craziest thing ever. Pretty limited. I watched I'm forgetting the name of it. I watched Split and Glass. I think those are the only two. Oh, and The Village. I watched that when I was
Have you
younger.
seen Old?
No.
How about The Devil?
No.
The Happening, Jesse Larkin mentioned in the chat, that's considered like one of the worst movies of all time.
I've not seen it. So I need to go back and watch I don't want to because I know they're going to be bad.
I have not seen The Happening. I have read the Wikipedia page for The Happening, and it makes me extremely glad that I never watched The Happening.
And that's what's happening.
I feel like
what's up, my man?
when the whole go into every movie knowing there's going to be a twist,
But
kind of ruins there being a
I
twist.
wouldn't say that that's the case with M. Night Shyamalan anymore. Like, I don't think that every movie that he does has a big twist.
There's not a big twist, but there's a reveal or an explanation, or there's something. They're all thrillers, so there's still something you're trying to figure out.
Right, but like every thriller has an intended twist or reveal. So like, I don't think that like you go into every M. Night Shyamalan movie these days saying like, I gotta watch out for something because they're hiding.
Oh
things
yeah, I'm
right
not
in front of my
thinking like
face.
what's the twist going to be, because quite frankly, he doesn't do them well enough that
And he did the
excited
great
for them.
move for Trap that got me extremely interested. The twist was revealed in the trailer. Like, I don't know if you remember watching the Trap trailer for the first time. You're like, oh shit, they're trying to catch somebody. And then in the trailer, they're like, oh no, that the dad is the killer.
So I did not remember the trailer going in, and I loved that about this movie. So Trap is a 2024 thriller from director M. Night Shyamalan, in which a dad, played by Josh Hartnett, brings his daughter to a concert of the biggest pop star in the world, and while at the concert, realizes that the concert is all just a stage for a manhunt for a serial killer, and you quickly learn he's the guy for whom they're searching. That's great. And if you don't know it from the trailer, I didn't know it from the trailer. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I know you saw it the night before me. Ellen saw it the night before me, and it had gotten 4 thumbs down. So I knew, and I was like, "There's no way they would hate it, and I'm going to love it. Maybe I can like it." And as I was watching it, I was like, all this stuff at the concert, this has me. They're trying to figure out who it is. He knows they're looking for him. There's stuff going on with the daughter. There's stuff going on with the daughter with the artist who is clearly M. Night Shyamalan's daughter.
Yep.
And is, because you could tell because it's a terrible actor. And you're like, what nepotism
plays
brought us.
Plays way too big a role in this movie.
Does a lot. Like ends up being
first
the
half-
twist is that like M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is very important to this movie.
One of my biggest problems with this movie, and I have a lot of problems with this movie, it is undeserved nepotism. And this movie feels like a vehicle for M. Night Shyamalan to push his daughter, both as a musician and as an actress. And I don't know if she's good at either of them.
Hey, I respect it.
I do not.
I mean, if put on for your daughter.
If you
That's
can.
family. My only thing as someone who hasn't seen the movie, just reacting to the trailer, and it didn't make any sense to me. Why is some random guy working at a concession stand knowledgeable about this entire plot and then revealing it to the serial killer?
So
It's a good
if
question.
you've not seen the trailer, a guy selling T-shirts tells Josh Hartnett's character, hey, if you notice there's a bunch of cops here, it's because they're looking for...
He does ask, doesn't he? Doesn't he ask? He's like, what's up with all the
Yeah.
cops?
Yeah.
I guess it's, but still, why?
It's
Not someone that should have knowledge of the plan.
volunteering way too much information based off of a 30-second interaction that they have in this movie.
But I mean, that guy should not know.
I'll tell you
Like
what,
right.
yeah, there's a lot that doesn't make sense about this movie.
So much.
We're going to do some light spoilers here. My biggest issue is... Or not my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that they eventually leave the concert and it turns into the worst movie you've ever seen. Because if they just contain it to the concert and then maybe spent 5 minutes outside, there's a perfect point for them to wrap up the movie, and they make it go another half hour after that, it's the worst. The thing that we'll say M. Night Shyamalan's daughter does, great place to end the movie, but they keep it going way past there and bring in all these dumb things. But so this guy is a serial killer, and he's got a victim. And he's a serial killer known as the Butcher. Lame.
Yeah.
Retire, bitch. He's got somebody tied up, not
Chained.
kidnapped, chained.
Very
yeah.
much
Loose, but mobile.
Eight ball.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad?
Crazy Eight. Yeah,
Crazy
yeah,
Eight.
right.
Crazy Eight.
Right. Big season 1 Breaking Bad stuff where they're locked up, we'll say. Locked up in a basement, and he checks on this person via an app he has. And when he opens the
Seemingly like a custom-made app.
When he opens the app, it has a butcher little mascot thing. So this man, who is a firefighter in real life, great profession, love firefighters. Cops get very mad that everybody loves firefighters and hates cops. That dynamic fascinates me. That doesn't pertain to this movie, but maybe when he was seeing all the cops, he was like,
what are all these
oh, they're
bozos
mad at
doing here?"
me because I'm a firefighter.
Yeah, true. Like firefighters don't hate cops. Cops hate
No,
firefighters.
right. They're like, I don't think about you at all.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they probably think about cops. Anyway, when he checks the app, it's like this guy is a software engineer on top of being a firefighter and, I don't know, a serial killer and a good dad. How much fucking time does this guy have to code?
Also, if I
And-
was a serial killer, wouldn't have any technology involved. I don't know if that plays in the movie at all, but I would
It can
not
only
have.
get you,
to build-
as it does in this movie.
To build
Spoiler.
up the time thing, he also has the time to dig a massive underground tunnel, which you find out later in the movie.
That's right. He digs a tunnel, and let's stick on time. I think I texted you during during the movie. This concert has like 200 intermissions, and they keep breaking for like, what is Shyamalan's daughter doing?
It also begins at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
I texted you this. What time is this concert starting that the dad gets there late because he said, sorry, I just got it. This was the soonest I could get off work. The concert has 100 intermissions. And when they leave, after hanging out for a meet and greet, it's light out. Is this in Edmonton?
It's crazy.
In the summer?
I think that they mentioned early on in the movie that this is an add-on show, like a surprise show in the afternoon. But what doesn't make sense from a logic standpoint is the reason that they set up this concert to trap the serial killer is because they found a ticket stub for that concert at one of the crime scenes. So how do you set up a concert to a show that the ticket was already bought for?
Yeah, does not make sense.
Well,
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, I think what they're trying to tell,
They turned a pre-planned concert into a trap.
A trap once they knew that he was
Why-
going.
Why did they? My brain was like, they're having this concert at 3 p.m. because it's a weird thing that it's a trap. Like they added
I don't think
the
the
show.
time necessarily has anything to do with that.
They made it sound like they added a show.
My
They
thing
do
is-
make it seem like they built this thing around the guy.
Yes.
Despite, and they're like, we built it around the guy because we knew he was going. And it's
My
like,
question is, why would you have a ticket? Like, why you wouldn't have a ticket stub before the concert? And if you
Well-
lost the ticket stub, you then would not be able
It
to
was-
get
this
into the
is
concert.
maybe a receipt or
this
something.
ties
Okay,
into
fair.
the twist, which is it involves a character about whom you care 0%, other than, I'll just fucking give it away, other than being like, Allison Pill, I haven't seen you in a while. Cool, Allison Pill's in this movie. But they build this whole thing around the family after, and the question is, are they going to catch this guy or not?
Yeah.
The question isn't who set this guy up. The question is why are we at this movie? But bad movie.
And once they leave the concert, you mentioned that it goes like 30 minutes beyond what it needs to. They also trick you into thinking that it's ending like 4 separate times. And though like he keeps managing to escape like every 5 minutes in the most ridiculous way.
Yeah.
And after the I recommend if you're going to see this movie, go to see it in a theater so that you can experience a theater laughing at how dumb this movie is. Because every 5 minutes he finds a way to escape, and my theater just erupted into laughter like every time.
There's nothing I love more than movies that aren't supposed to be funny that everyone is just like, look at this
Yes.
dumb shit.
And
The last Avatar
At
movie.
one point they show
Twisters.
At one point they show footage of a kidnapping, and the kidnapping is so cartoonish that the theater just absolutely howled for like minutes at how cartoonish the kidnapping
It
was.
legitimately needed the Dave Chappelle gotcha
Whoop.
bitch. Like,
Yeah.
gotcha,
It was-
bitch.
it was whoop, that kind of kidnapping. It was unbelievable.
very
So-
bad movie. But I maintain if they kept it to the concert and ended it once M. Night Shyamalan's daughter solves it, it wouldn't be the best movie. I'd still maybe have a little below old, but it would be way more palatable.
I
Oh, go ahead.
am kind of in on Shyamalan either being hit or miss in that like he makes a good movie or a bad movie. I don't want him to keep making like olds where you're like, that was like fine.
Yeah.
But
rules.
this really did, I guess Old and this movie chunked a very interesting premise.
So I was going to say what I'm most upset about is he came up with a good idea and then just couldn't execute it. And like couldn't it seemed like he was, as the character is running out of ways to escape, it legitimately seems like the movie is running out of ideas.
Mhm.
Like they don't know how to wrap it up and they don't know how to make it ascend. It gets worse and clumsier and stupider as it goes on. Very upsetting. Bad job, M. Night Shyamalan. You stink, baby.
2 overall thoughts that were like positive about this movie. Josh Hartnett is great.
The best.
Still great. Like I was very intrigued of this movie because of M. Night Shyamalan, but also because Josh Hartnett's having a bit of a renaissance right
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I did not want this movie to suck because I needed Josh Hartnett to continue his upward ascension. By some miracle, that he still has upward ascension while also starring in one of the worst movies of the year. And number 2, I would say that this movie was a testament to M. Night Shyamalan being a good director and bad writer. I thought that the directing in this movie was pretty solid, and like all of the visuals and kind of the aesthetic of this movie I liked, but the writing was so fucking bad.
On the Josh Hartnett thing, this movie features a lot of something that I love, which is when a character is being all smiley with somebody, and then once they turn around or walk out of the door, Sean, you know this move where someone's like,
The Chris
hey,
Paul?
does this go here?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, see you later.
Yeah.
And then like once they turn, it's like back to business. So he like perks up a lot and smiles at people, and then as soon as they don't see his face, buddy, it takes just as doesn't it take less strength to smile, they say? than to frown.
And they've got cameras set up all over this place
They could have caught him just through that.
Exactly.
There's a guy that when he's not facing somebody is going.
This is also a man who understands the importance of facial recognition because he designed an app in which it recognizes his face and gets into the app.
Insane.
Bad job.
Only thing I wanted to say about M. Night Shyamalan is I think my favorite thing about him is that he was supposed to direct the Life of Pi, and he turned it down. He backed out of it because the Life of Pi itself has a twist ending, and he recognized that if his name was attached to a movie, that the experience for people would be very different. And he liked the Life of Pi a lot, and he didn't want to ruin it by having the twist ending be a different experience for people because it's an M. Night Shyamalan twist ending.
Interesting.
Like, hey,
M. Night Shyamalan seems like a
respect.
pretty good guy.
Yeah.
And like a very interesting.
Oh, he seems cool.
He seems very cool. I appreciate that because Life of Pi was very good, and I don't know if it would have been if M. Night
Exactly.
Shyamalan was
Exactly.
At this point, the biggest twist with Shyamalan movies, like I don't wait for the twist. Tell you what I do wait for though. M. Night Shyamalan. I love
it's like a
seeing
Marvel
M. Night
movie where
I
I'm just
love seeing M. Night Shyamalan in movies.
Yeah.
He's great and old. He's excellent. He's really, very stupid in Trapped.
Extremely dumb role.
Falls for the oldest trick in the book, which is a guy doing the, hey, my daughter's sick. Can you do something nice for us? Oldest trick in the book, M. Night. How are you going to fall for that? Especially from a serial killer in a movie you wrote.
That trick hung out on M. Night Shyamalan's beach because it's fucking old.
It's feeling pretty old. Last thing I'll say on movies, I saw the movie Coup starring Peter Sarsgaard and Billy Magnuson. Had never heard of it until like 3 days ago.
Two actors that I will fucking ride for until the day I die.
Best cast in the world just based off two people, and they both absolutely cook. It's about a kind of grifter, mysterious guy who ends up becoming a chef for a very rich writer and starts pulling some stuff, pulling some tricks, and basically overtakes this mansion in a. I told you,
Saltburn.
It's Saltburn for people who fuck. it's Saltburn for people who have seen a weird movie or two.
So that's my biggest problem with Saltburn.
It's less weird. It's definitely less weird, but like you don't have to have that like, oh, drink semen now. They just fucking cook, man.
I do like that I do like weird movies going mainstream. But I don't like when people who have seen like 4 movies in a year are like Saltburn is the weirdest movie ever. Because it's fucking not. And it's not the best movie ever either. It's a fine, weird movie that I'm glad got some shine on a big stage.
That was my issue with, what's the Mark Mylod one with Ralph Fiennes and John Leguizamo? The kitchen?
Shoot.
The dinner?
The Menu.
The Menu. Yeah. Everyone was like, oh, isn't that the most wicked movie you've ever seen?
No, we watch every Blumhouse movie that ever comes out.
I'm like, the answer to that question is no.
The Menu was fine.
I liked The Menu. I gave it a B when I was looking very forward to it. I wanted it to be an A. But that's that for movies. I got to shout out Bleacher Report and Open Ice, our friend Evan Sporer, the whole gang. They did a post in this boring hockey time where it was what teams would look like if they only consisted of players who are from there. And it was amazing, mainly just because it was the weirdest, most unnecessary thing I've ever seen. Sean, if you want to throw some of these up. Bruins, they had Chris Kreider, Noah Hannafin, Matty Beniers, Matt Boldy, Jack Eichel. And like there's just a million of them. A bunch of different teams. Wild they had the Blues with they had the Flames with Cale Makar, Josh Morrissey, Braden Point. Best one though, Utah. Because
fucking outrageous.
Outrageous.
The Tage Thompson, famously from Utah, Matthew Nyes, very well-known Utah boy, and captaining the team, I believe, although there's no C on there, Austin Matthews. Great behavior. Just people
outrageous.
Very from Arizona.
It's very funny to me because like I saw it on Instagram first and it was in like a slideshow. Because when they did like the thread on Twitter, they did do like in parentheses featuring players from Arizona, but they did not have that on the Instagram one. So it was just the picture that you're seeing now if you're watching on YouTube. And I was just like, none of those guys are from Utah.
I would love it so much if Austin Matthews went to Utah.
Well, that was the whole theory in Arizona when he signed his 4-year contract or whatever. It was perfect setup for like they'll have their new arena by then. They'll be like these prospects will be in their prime. He'll drop in and win that team a Stanley Cup. Now I don't know what his plans are, but
People or at least one person, Charlie, excited that we mentioned Matt Boldy. I'll say we don't talk a lot about Matt Boldy on this show.
You want to know
Wonder why?
Could
What
have
team does
something
he-
to do with the team that he plays on.
We have a problem with the company he keeps. We'll say. Some of
That's so nefarious.
yeah, it makes him sound problematic. He just plays for the Wild.
the New York one was funny.
He's hanging around some unsavory and quite frankly uninteresting people.
The New York one was funny to me because this had to upset Rangers fans.
I saw. Yeah,
Adam Fox.
there was a lot of. I'll say that generally the main takeaway from this was people were mad, and I was
Good.
very
I
into
mean,
that.
That's clearly designed to make people
Yeah, it's
mad.
just putting everybody in jerseys
It's
that
just a
people don't
funny
like.
summer project, and I'm so glad when people just fucking do it.
Are there not more like NHL players from Vancouver?
Vancouver, unequivocally cool.
Yeah, very cool. But are there not more Vancouver
Bedard,
NHL players?
Celebrini, and Reinhart, love that. I was thinking that too. And then it got me thinking about Edmonton. I wish they made one with Edmonton and it was just Stu.
If we had a real chaos god in the NHL, they'd just like imagine if Connor Bedard just like made that his profile picture,
Just
and it was him
in
in a Canucks jersey.
You know who would do that? Macklin Celebrini.
He's not afraid to be like, I'm from Vancouver. I like the Canucks.
He'll put
Well, not
it out
anymore.
there.
He said it. He was like, I had to root for him one last time, which respect.
I do
Someone
respect
says,
that.
do you know Adam Fox and Charlie McAvoy grew up together? I'll do you one better. The Blues would have Jason Tatum on there.
That is true.
They did a Blues one. Yeah. And it had both Kachucks. Clayton Keller, how you feel about that, Utah boy?
I mean, he's a very proud St. Louisan.
People from St. Louis do have that pride.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I feel like it's a city that people don't talk about at all.
I hate to say it, like the Kachucks, both Kachucks just look so right in that uniform.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
I mean, Matthew
retire
Tkachuk, I'd say maybe even more so. Brady Tkachuk in a St. Louis Blues jersey is
It looks so right.
really hitting.
God, I can't wait for the Four Nations Cup.
Morgan in the comments brought up something that was also popular, or in the chat brought up something that was also popular in the comments, which was, isn't this player from blank? And going through it, it was a delight because I don't know. So like someone be like, isn't Nathan McKinnon from blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know, but that person's fucking furious.
I thought you were gonna go in the direction of like, this person's not from St. Louis. They're from a suburb 25 minutes outside of St. Louis.
Well, yeah, Barzal is from Coquitlam.
Coquitlam?
Yeah.
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 There you go. There you
The
go.
Coquitlam Express. Who doesn't know that team?
Speaking of famous St. Louis Blues players and movies, we are going to be watching that. If anybody's seen it, the movie Minor Leaguer with Timu Solani, Brett Hull, and Dan Comrie. The movie's directed by Dan Connery.
Yes.
I need to find out what this movie is, all the lore
Why it
around
happened.
why it happened, and why anybody signed up for it. Because if you tell me that there is a movie with Timu Solani and Brett Hull, I'm in every time. But holy fuck, it's got to be the worst movie of all time. It's an hour and 17 minutes, by the way. That's a TV episode.
Love
Nice.
that. I see movies like that, and I'm like, I need to fucking take like 3 acting classes. Because once you've taken 3 acting classes, you could talk yourself into like, should I have gone out for that movie? Should I have auditioned for that movie?
That's
Why not me?
That's what I love about
Look what they're fucking putting in it.
Amazon Prime in particular. Is I feel like if you get into like the deep waters of some of the stuff they have on there,
We could be in those movies.
we could have a movie on Amazon Prime 100%.
Like if you do, what's your are we a Babbel family?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, if you put your Babel energy towards acting classes, you could be in those movies.
I think I could act.
I think that I could already be in those movies.
I think
I'd be a bad actor.
Right,
But
but
they'd
like,
just be like, that's a bad
actors
actor. This is a bad
exist.
movie.
Yeah,
Like, I
right.
think if I could be an extra in a movie where I had like a line, I think I could do that easily.
I think that I think I could do it as well. Somebody put us in your movie, like put us in Shoresy. Like the acting in Shoresy isn't great, but it's like fuck, it's
I mean, it's not a shot at him at all, but like RA's in Shoresy.
right.
Like there are people who are clearly not actors in Shoresy.
Jesse Larkin said Discord movie night. I was hoping that might
Yeah,
be suggested.
Pete
I was
threw that
like,
out
this
there.
could be one of those Discord movie nights. If you guys put it on, Jesse, if you put it on, or anybody, I will be there.
Yeah, we
I
don't
will
know how
be
to
there.
do that. So
Unless it's this weekend, I will be away. But
If
it's
we
like
do
early
it
next
Tuesday
week-
night before the show,
yeah, like right
Wednesday,
before I would do that.
I would
Hell yeah.
totally do that.
we've been promising discussing this topic forever, and as the summer has waned on, we were just talking about freaking Bleacher Report art that was pissing everybody off. So clearly we're bored. Let's discuss the things that we miss most about hockey, and maybe about hockey being in season.
Is
Are
this
there-
like a draft, or are we just having like a conversation? here?
You can throw it out. We could turn it into a draft later. We could just lie and pretend that there was like a heated debate or something like that. I'm just wondering, what do you miss?
I mean, for me, if this was a draft, my first overall pick was going to be the Arizona Coyotes. Rest in peace.
That one we
R.I.P.
can't
in peace.
we can't get you, unfortunately.
I might be the only one here. Paul Maurice press conferences. I love Johnny the Joke.
Yeah,
Man.
but we've discussed. Oh, I don't know if we've discussed this. Maybe I've got. There's something that we can do with the funny coaches thing. We've definitely discussed there needing to be a new Paul Maurice, right? Have we talked
Yes.
about that?
Yeah.
Push him out, get a new guy.
Yeah, we talked about it being Dean Evison, I think, on the podcast because we were like, there needs to be a new Johnny the Joke Man next year. We were talking about slapping the label of Johnny the Joke
yes.
Man.
Oh,
Okay,
'cause he-
so
yeah.
there's content. One of my ideas in my phone is would love to make something of there needs to be a new funny guy in the NHL. So we picked the Philadelphia Flyers and tried to see if we could make it happen. And we go to Philadelphia and we sit down with Torts.
Torts is, but that's the thing about Paul
Torts
Maurice.
is already funny.
Yeah, like Paul Maurice is just being Paul Maurice. I feel like
No, but the idea of being like Torts. Have you thought about throwing a few quips in there?
you know who I think could pull it off, Lindy, because he's already kind of got a little like fuck you energy. Where
I've
I
also
feel
got
like,
plans for like I want us to do stuff with Lindy big time. I don't know if you want to be there for it. Sean,
oh no,
but-
Tossing
I
Lindy
told
some,
you
like,
I'm in on Lindy
Boomer
now.
humor suggestions would be hilarious.
Well, he did make a joke at the draft.
yeah, with Celine Dion.
right
yeah.
after Celine Dion. Yeah,
So Dean Evison, Lindy, come on down. Still definitely want to pitch it to or want to offer it to Torts. See how he feels about
Torts
that.
is already a little bit of a joke man.
So yeah, that is true. Like he actually is funny.
Like he especially like this past year, I feel like he loosened up in a lot of ways,
Well, yeah, but he just picked on one guy the entire year.
which is funny. Like that's the
Anthony
thing about
Sanfilippo, whatever it was.
you can't get him to start making jokes because he's funny by just being an asshole. Like he's already hilarious.
Whoa, on the Dean Evison thing, Ambassador Grease says freaking Creed from The Office. Whoa,
Good call.
that's rad.
I miss feeling useful on Twitter. I just don't know what to do with my Twitter account this summer. Just tweeting about people leaving nicotine pouches in fucking urinals and how mad it makes me. Dude, I love the experience of. It's weird that I've like done a full 180 on hockey Twitter, where it's like I actively enjoy hockey Twitter now because I just like watch games and go on and talk about how cool hockey is, and everybody's cool about it for the most part
Yeah,
until the playoffs arrive, and then everybody gets really pissy.
I like when hockey reminds us of other stuff, and then we just talk about something else instead. That's up there.
Kind of on the same thread. I miss specialty jerseys,
Oh,
like the Pride
horny jerseys?
jerseys. What?
Horny jerseys.
Oh no! I hate those. I miss like the Pride jerseys, like the Heritage Night jerseys, because they went crazy this past year.
It was such a good year, and especially the Kings. The Kings always kill it. We gotta.
The Panthers. Went
What if
crazy this
we
year.
got you a special? What if we just kept getting you specialty jerseys and giving them to you for free? But the only catch is all of them have
Horny.
69 suck me off on the back.
They'll collect dust.
You
Put
wouldn't
it-
wear it?
No.
I mean, I definitely wouldn't.
That would
I'd
be
never.
so funny because you know how like old guys have their like retro porn collections, like their vintage porn magazines.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I found my dad's box of porn. Like in 40 years, Sean's son finds a box of jerseys in his garage,
32
and they're
suck
all
me
just
off
like,
jerseys?
yeah, they're all 69 suck me off, and your son just like finds something out about you, and he's like, what the fuck?
I'll be like, listen,
That would be
there were people
so
in my life
funny.
in the past.
Can I ask about y'all's chicken finger consumption this summer?
Non-existent.
Non-existent. I missed that big time.
Been eating tuna sandwiches and rice. That's been my like go-to for the last
That's
month.
weird.
What kind of rice? Yeah, it's a weird
White rice.
White rice?
Yeah.
What, are you crazy?
That's like the
Cheat.
I'm willing to say that. I think that's like that is the most boring meal that you could ever eat. Tuna sandwich and white
So
rice.
I know this. I don't like
Yes.
tuna.
I
People
love
who
tuna.
like tuna sandwiches, that's their shining star, man.
I
They
mean, I do
it.
love a good tuna sandwich. I mean, it's just cans of tuna are 99 cents. So it's a cheap eat.
I mean, I
Interesting.
don't dislike tuna. I just think that that's a very like bland meal.
Oh, it's incredibly bland. Yeah. I don't eat it because it's good. I mean, I eat it. I like
You're
it. I
ju-
do
you're
love
like-
tuna sandwiches.
You're like actively eating prison sandwiches.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
but I think that there's maybe something to if you condition yourself to feel that food is boring, you probably won't overeat. I don't know if you're at risk of overeating. Or anything like that.
I have been eating a lot less, I would say. I've been smoking a lot less. And so that was like my kryptonite because then I would just eat like crazy. So I don't have that problem as much recently. So it's definitely been better for my body, I would say.
You know what I'm
I don't know if tuna's really even that good for
starting
you.
to do? Who knows if it'll last? It always blows my mind people that do it. Meal prep.
I
Yeah.
can't do it.
I can't do it, but like I wish that I could be a meal
Same.
prep guy because I only like cooking like once a week. And if I did the entire week of meals, like I would be fine.
I do. I spend. Whenever people complain about how expensive groceries are these days, I'm like, it doesn't affect me at all. And then I realize it's because I don't go grocery shopping a lot because I eat out so much.
Yeah.
That
Do you do like Uber Eats or you do like go eat out?
So
because Uber Eats is extremely expensive too.
I almost never Uber Eats. Famously,
I don't anymore.
like I've
One cookie, one candy bar.
one cookies and cream candy bar that still hit so much. But no, but I will get takeout a lot and I will go out to eat a lot. But the whole plight of grocery stores being, I guess if I start meal prepping, I'm going to get into that world. But I don't know, it just blows my mind. Someone was saying to me the other day, they were like, yeah, like you make enough meal, like I'll make enough chicken for a week or something. And I was like, yo, tell me if I'm stupid here. I didn't know that chicken could last that long.
That's my
yeah.
thing. Is
You're
like
sticking chicken in the fridge for a week, and they were like, "Yeah, I mean, just keep an eye on it."
Yeah.
I'm, like,
I-
I'm not a keeping an eye on it guy.
my thing.
You can
like,
also freeze it.
that's true.
When
But
I put shit in the freezer, as I'm closing the freezer door, I'm like, "See
Never
you
see
when
you
I
again."
throw you away."
yeah, no, I'm
Always.
I
100%.
get that. I
100%
That
definitely
thing
get
is
that.
gone.
The one thing, like, I am fine with blood. I'm like, if people throw up, it's not pleasant, but like, it doesn't necessarily make me throw up. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. Just like dairy in particular that goes bad is like, oh my
Yeah,
god, oh
no
my
good.
god. Just
But-
even thinking about it makes me want to throw up. It's like my biggest weakness.
Yeah, I mean, it's no good. I don't think anybody's been like loved when dairy goes
No,
bad.
but like that's the one thing that like will make my stomach like I will vacate my stomach immediately.
I've become a Costco guy. Like I've
Oh,
always been a
nice.
Costco guy, but like to do everything at Costco other than food shop. By the way, these pants from Costco,
Nice.
I've been seeing
Fif-
something. I've been seeing.
$15.
I wish I like. I guess had a Costco membership, or whatever. I don't know. Like I've seen some like clothes that
I
Costco's
like went on
got
a shopping spree clothing wise at Costco the other day.
respect.
Costco fucking rules, but also it makes it a lot easier to meal. If you're gonna do the meal prep thing, probably get a Costco membership, and then it's gonna be cheaper, and you're gonna have the amount of things that you need for meal prep.
So I am I'm a frequent small trip guy when it comes to grocery shopping. That would not jibe with going to Costco.
No.
But I miss Costco. I always loved going to Costco. I don't think I have a use for Costco. How much is a Costco membership?
It's a good question. Maybe like, I want to say like $150 for the year or something.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
was
feel
shocked by how cheap it was. I could be wrong.
If you have like a family, I feel like it's so worth it. The problem I would have is just like fridges are only so big. Like if you don't have like a second refrigerator or something like that,
yeah,
I would fill up my refrigerator.
I'm gonna
too
dox
quickly.
my dad here, but he blew my mind the other day in telling me that he is not an Amazon Prime member.
He's just raw dogging Amazon
And
orders?
so I was like, what? How
The
does that
fact
even
that
work?
anybody wouldn't be an Amazon Prime. Do you have Amazon Prime,
Yes.
Sean? Okay.
Well, my aunt does, and I have hers.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
that's-
so craziest thing I'd ever heard, but I don't know if this is actually true. He was like, everything I order still gets there 2 days later because they're like, oh, whatever, it's on the same truck. So
I'm
is
guessing
that
you have
like
to
a
pay for
life
shipping now.
hack? You don't have to.
But does he pay for shipping?
Oh yeah, that's true. He
Yeah,
probably
that-
does.
that's-
Yeah.
Okay, so I can get back on yelling at him for not having Amazon Prime.
By the way, yeah, Costco memberships are $60, $120 for the executive
I have the
membership, where you
executive
get
one.
So what's the difference
dis-
between executive and
No idea.
The only two additional benefits, it appears, are you get an annual 2% reward up to $1,000 on eligible Costco and Costco travel purchases, and Costco service discounts, which
Oh.
I'm guessing
So, like-
that's like the car member like service.
I
and stuff like
go
that.
to I get like the optometry department.
Oh,
so
okay,
I bet
stuff
that's
like
part
that.
of it.
Yeah.
So-
Because they both include ability to shop online, 2 membership cards, and 100% satisfaction guarantee.
That's right. I
So-
can confirm.
I miss Costco being, or I miss not having to talk about Costco with hockey. I miss hockey providing enough interesting things that, like, this is probably the most interesting conversation any of us are going to have the rest of the week. And it was,
I don't know. We talked about Trap like 30 minutes ago. It was fun.
that was pretty electric. But I'm starting to get ready for the.
Oh, I'm there. I like doing stuff in the summer. I like having like the freedom of
Yeah.
time. But I have reached the point of the off season where I do really miss hockey.
I just like that I get to be. It's like the phenomenon of being excited about a Buffalo Sabres hockey season is still a relatively new one, and so I'm excited to be excited again.
Oh, I'm into to the Sabres this year. You know that.
Famously.
I'm excited for the reset of like every team has the potential of being relevant to us because like obviously as last season went along, you're like, okay, we don't have to talk about
Canadians.
Yeah, right. Like the idea that we can and probably will talk about like 31 teams, fuck the Wild. That excites me.
I can't wait until next May and June where people are like, all these guys talk about is the fucking Dallas Stars because they're like the one of 2 teams left in hockey.
Oh, there's a team other than the Devils. I don't know if there is.
I don't think there's
Let's
not
find
playing.
out. What's that?
I said not that are currently playing.
Yeah.
To build off that too, like I miss doing the show every day.
So do I. I mean, yes. So do I.
Do not say on the show that you don't miss
Oh
doing
no,
the show
no, no!
every
Like
day.
this show is my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It is good that we've gotten to. I think I worry sometimes that we've in this time enjoyed maybe a little too much of a break, but we take as big a break as we need.
My entire life is a pendulum.
Yeah,
It's like I'm either this way or I'm this way, and
Yeah.
I lean too far either way.
like I see that ridiculous Bleacher Report thing, and granted they have like a whole social media team and everything, and I'm like, fuck, that's a big ridiculous risk they just took. I wanna, like I was telling you, I was like, I miss like taking a swing with the risk of it being a swing and a miss.
I really want like the Blue Jackets to start the season like 7-1.
Yes,
Because then I'll be like, that team's gonna win the Stanley Cup.
I'm
I'll be
so
so
excited
far
for the
in.
Blue. I like the roster, man. I'm so excited for the Blue Jackets this year. We also need to. Well, let's do some 3 stars. 2 in particular we want to shout out first. It's been a couple of weeks, and I have not mentioned this person, which makes me feel terrible. The great Mike Loftus, longtime writer for the Patriot Ledger, who also worked for the New England Patriots, but his claim to fame was that he was a legendary Bruins beat writer, was there the whole time that I was on the Bruins beat, died a few weeks ago. I was in New York when they had his services, so I was unable to go, and I felt very, very terrible about that. But just an unbelievable beat writer, unbelievable guy, hilarious, ridiculous in all the ways that you want someone to be ridiculous. Like, even as he was, he was, I'll say, a bit older than me, but got along with everybody, young, old, had the respect of everyone, but at the end of the day was just so fucking funny, but funny on his own terms. And I was very, very sad to see that he went. And the best thing I can say about him, other than that he was a great writer and that everybody loved him and respected him, was I have never met either of his children, Jamie and Ben, but he talked about them all the time. And Jamie, who, again, I don't know this person, but I follow her on Twitter. She's very famous in the comedy world. Like, as she was kind of going through the ranks and getting more and more popular and taking on more things, he had this combination of exasperated, like, aging person and super proud father, where he'd be like, hey, my daughter's gonna open for Maria Bamford. And I would be like, what? Holy shit, that's incredible. And he was like, yeah, should I be like bugging her about, like, well, how much is it paying and everything like that? Because it seems like she's like super excited. And I was like, I don't fucking know, man, but it seems like she's killing it. And he was like, I really get the sense she is. It was
Didn't
very much a lot.
Didn't you write a book about hot dogs?
Yeah, she wrote a book about hot dogs.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, that shit doesn't happen, and she doesn't happen, and all, like, I can see just from like following her on Twitter, I'm like, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree at all. So shout out to quote David Guetta said, shout out to his family. Shout out to his family. I know that everybody was very proud of him, and he was just a fucking great guy. He didn't understand a lot of the, like, he eventually came around on Twitter and things like that. But when people look at various beats, it used to bug me that they'd look at who had Twitter followers and be like, okay, that must be the best person. Like, and
That's
I
how
would,
I've gotten every job.
what's that?
That's how I've gotten every job.
I don't say that as a shot at you. I would say more of like, I would feel guilty when people be like, hey, you're my favorite beat writer. And there were a lot of years where I wasn't even like close to, I don't think that I was ever the best beat writer, but like I wasn't even close to the best beat writer. Yeah, I was just probably one of the more likely ones that you might come across on social media, and social media was becoming more prevalent. But like, Mike was like that was the good shit. He would have an idea, knew what he was talking about, knew how to deal with people. I was fortunate to be able to just lift from so many fucking people who had done it for a long time. He rocked, and I'll miss him, and I'm very sad he's gone. So shout out Mike Loftus. What a guy. I wish that I could have given a more eloquent tribute, but everybody who knew him fucking loved him, and I was very bummed to learn that we lost him. So shout out Mike Loftus. And also, we have to talk about somebody who fortunately is still with us, but the whole Jeff Merrick thing.
Yeah.
We've at least learned kind of what happened there. I don't know the details well enough to express my anger as much as I want to, but
And I don't even know, like, if am I allowed to be angry? Like, I feel like I just don't know what fully is happening there, because
I just want him back.
based off of what we know, seems, at least in my estimation, like a massive overreaction based off the stuff that has come out about him tipping draft picks to a friend at the draft, and then they said it didn't result in like gambling impropriety from his end. He didn't stand to win any money. Sportsnet still decided to like part ways after 13 years. That seems like a massive overreaction for a guy who is, I don't say this like to blow smoke. I think he's legitimately my favorite person in hockey.
Whoa. You're my favorite person in
I was
hockey.
going to say, no, you're not the best man or his favorite person in hockey.
Jeff Merrick is now one of the 5 best men in my wedding.
No, I would say, I mean, again, I encourage that so much. Like,
I love Jeff Merrick.
if you want to do a I love you man thing, where it's just kind of like a mishmash hodgepodge of like
Every
oh, yeah.
man at that wedding is going to end up being the best man.
Yeah, like every
Yes.
man Pete's met, friends, close friends or not, I strongly encourage that. But I just don't know what the rules were and how much their hands were tied. I have to imagine other forces were at play. I'm not saying that anything Jeff did, but I'm saying like they must have had some sort of like this person answers to this person, answers to this person, hands tied situation that nobody could part ways with Jeff Merrick and be happy about
And
it.
be like,
And if
"This-
anybody was, then I don't trust that person at all
100%.
because he is. I say you're the best at what you do to a lot of people, and I mean it because not everybody does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of very few people who does what he does, and he's the best at it.
We talk a lot about like people that we want to hang out with because they're like they seem cool and they seem fun, and we talk a lot about people that we want to hang out with because like they're a great hockey mind and like I could talk hockey with this person all day.
Yeah.
Jeff Merrick is a combination of both of those things.
Ryan Lambert right
Yeah.
there too. Yeah.
And so like that's why he's so good at his job, but he's also like such a good, interesting person. And also he's so nice to everybody.
And the fact that, like, I think that you're a fucking great guy, and I love you for a million reasons. I think that, like, I feel like it's a little feather in my cap that, like, you'll do this show with me. You know, I look at Jeff Merrick, and I'm like, who are the 2 people that have really hitched their wagons to him for long, big things? And it's Greg Wyshynski and it's Elliot Friedman. So, like, that's very great on his life resume that those guys who are awesome and the best at what they do want to associate with and make things with him. Sean, can you throw the super chats back up? I just wanted to quickly read from Ambassador to Greece, who's just made a killing in the chat today. My Chapel Row in Lollapalooza was the DJ Eras tour. I don't totally understand that. So if you want to follow up and explain it, that would be great. And from the love of your life, I think I know where this is going. Yep. Not being able to say slurs on donations sucks. Sorry, the love of your life. We will.
I might disagree with you there, but
It makes Sean's life a
Saying,
little
I
easier.
think I know where you're going with this. Yup. And then reading that message.
Well, it's one of 2 things. It's
was
your eye.
Slavkovsky,
It's
yeah.
your eye. Or how come I'm not. Excuse me. I was trying to use hate speech, and I don't know if we could hire.
Your eye Slurkowski. That's the love of your life.
another thing from the chat / Discord, which if you're not a part, link in the description, join. Lark did indeed schedule a What Chaos Presents a screening of Minor Leaguer, 9 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern on Tuesday.
Yes. Love that.
Okay, Pete and I have to have an actual real life conversation about his wedding, but I do like some of the suggestions that are being thrown in there, which are DJ and Sean walking Pete down the aisle.
Famously, not famously at all. Never said this to like anybody.
That's how we use famously.
Yeah, I know. I was the ring bearer at my mom's first wedding. I was
There you
like a year, well, kind of, because I was like a year old. And so I'm pretty sure they gave me a pillow with some fake rings because I was just
Untrustworthy.
whipping that motherfucker all over the place. And I think there was a dog afterwards, maybe. There was somebody or something else that had the actual rings.
You
which-
got
No. Cucked by a dog?
yeah.
Yeah, but also clearly the right decision. So I can't be that mad about it.
That's
Interesting.
tough. That's tough when you lose your job to a dog.
Well, I mean, kinda. I was
I
was the face, and then I had somebody behind the scenes doing the real
Well,
work.
it's tough when the dog is like the real brains of the operation.
I
It
mean-
happens to a kid every Air Bud movie.
That's true.
I would argue that a dog is more trustworthy than a 1-year-old
Yeah, depends on the dog.
and the 1-year-old, I
Maybe.
guess.
It depends. Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
getting a
mad
lot of
about it.
DJ and Sean Flower Girls, Penny and other pups as ring bearers. I'll say this, and I say this just as an attendee of the wedding.
Maybe.
I love Summer. Can't trust Summer.
Definitely can't trust her.
She's got big ideas.
Can trust her. He definitely has big ideas. Can trust her more than Duke.
Yeah, but Duke would. Yeah. Well, just like best availability is their best ability is availability kind of thing.
No,
Duke isn't with us.
Duke was a psychopath. Most unpredictable dog ever.
But Duke, what was Duke's breed?
A pit bull.
Duke was a pit bull. Yeah, put the
It's
bull.
rock, dude.
Yeah, he was.
Put the bull in there.
He was stupid,
Charged.
even for pit bull standards.
Pit bulls
Yeah.
are the best.
Amazing. I was supposed to be the ring bearer at my dad's wedding and got nerfed by my brother. What's that word?
Nerfed means like you're like downgraded.
Yeah.
So in video game terms, buffed is you get upgraded, and nerfed is downgraded, which in video game terms is incredible because it says it's usually used for guns.
Yeah.
So they say that they turn something into a Nerf gun.
I've been playing so much Call of Duty recently.
Have you
It
really?
just got put on
Like
Game Pass.
Warzone or
No,
regular?
just like multiplayer, little zombies. It just got put on Game Pass. So I've been.
I'm looking
banging.
to get back into gaming. I might do some Tarkov. There's a wipe coming up this week. I might jump into Tarkov.
I need a PC, man.
Yeah, you do.
We got another super chat. I'll read this one. From
Yeah,
Love
I was
Your
gonna
Life.
say, like,
shout out, Sean, but honestly, shout
Watch
out my
your
white
mouth.
mom. No, shout out my white mom. My
Oh,
mom's
yeah,
white
yeah.
and she rocks.
Yeah.
And then he said harassing Sean for being mixed is so fun.
So that's where you lose me, love of your
Well,
life.
as long as
Jokingly
you,
be like, I want to say slurs. Look, that's hilarious.
I don't have too much of a problem with it as long as you're not doing the Kamala Harris thing.
So I was going to say, like, in today's climate, it's very common to do that. So I wouldn't do that.
No, acknowledging
personally.
that I'm mixed is okay. If you were like, Sean's not black because he's got a white mom, then we'd have a problem. But I don't think the Love of Your Life is doing that. And I also know the Love of Your Life is just being an agent of chaos. So I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Love you.
How did we not talk about this?
What?
Not relevant to anything at all. But since
Pitbull?
Charlie brought up Pitbull,
Yes.
shout out Pitbull Stadium at FIU.
Crazy.
Craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, what happened?
Pitbull's
Pitbull-
paying FIU $1.5 million
I
a
think,
year
yeah,
for the
1.2,
naming
yeah.
rights to the stadium. So it's
So it's called Pitbull Stadium.
That's fucking awesome.
Very cool.
FIU, irrelevant. And it's like their center
That's
field
awesome.
painting has like 305 on it with like their Panther logo as the 0. So it's just like the most Pitbull thing ever.
Oh, that rules.
Absolutely
Hell yes.
rocks.
Shout out Pitbull. Pitbull is
coolest
very
dude
cool.
ever.
Shout out the love of your life's loving black mom and dad.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
I also have to shout out Katie O'Keefe. Katie O'Keefe sent me a Nathan McKinnon graphic heart trophy winner
You want
T-shirt. No, I'm gonna debut it on next week's episode. I'll wear it. I feel like I need to give it the proper debut. So
Last
I'll wear
thing, while people in the chat are being problematic, is anybody else like a little tempted to watch the Joe Rogan special?
Oh, I was gonna watch it that night,
Wait.
just to see what it was. But then I saw stuff about it. And I was like, I don't need to watch this.
I've been tempted to see it.
Now I would never say yes, but now that like people are talking about it and you're like, I don't need to see it. Now I need to see it.
I was tempted to see it, but some clips are it borderline seems like, and I could be wrong, so apologies if this isn't the case. Like, I think there's like actual hate speech in it.
Probably. He does a little like this might have been funny 3 years ago type
That's
stuff where he's
big
like
Joe
talking
Rogan
about
stuff.
vaccines, and it's just like it's 2024,
If
man.
You're talking about vaccines in 2024.
I have been
life.
seeing a lot of stills of, and I don't know if they're actually what he's saying, but it's like a still of Joe Rogan saying something next to a still from An Evening with Tim Heidecker where he's saying something, and it's like the same things. So Joe Rogan's I'm doing my best performance is the same thing as Tim Heidecker being like, what if I tried my hardest to be not funny?
Yes.
Yikes.
I saw a very good like supercut of him being what is referred to in comedy as a stool fucker. And it was like a supercut of different comedians he had on his podcast talking about how like people that are stool fuckers are not funny. It's basically when like people like doing their stand-up bits are like pantomiming fucking the stool to make a joke, and all the comedians on his show are just like, if you show me a stool fucker, you're showing me someone who is not funny, because they're relying on it to not make jokes. And he's like clearly like listening to them and gearing up his like defense for it, because he and then it's just clips throughout his entire career of him,
my God.
just like the most aggressive like stool fucking ever. And it's just like,
I sent DJ a clip last week of a Chris D'Elia clip, or D'Elia,
yeah,
Chris D'Elia clip.
I saw that clip.
It actively made me so fucking mad about how dumb and unfunny it was. It was him making fun of people doing crowd work.
Yes.
But in making fun of how lazy and dumb crowd work is, he did unfunny crowd work and turned off the comments on the video.
And did the same joke for like 4 straight minutes. He
And
just kept
did
saying
like
the same thing with different words.
Shout out me. I did not know he was a pedophile.
You
Yes.
did not know that?
Very famously.
No. Like at the time when he was famous, but I was never. I was never like, this guy sucks, but I was like, are we sure this guy's funny? It just seems like he's kind of like doing a bad Dane Cook here.
The funniest thing, let me rephrase that, because nothing's funny about being a pedophile. He plays a pedophile in You.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Is
Yeah.
if you're a pedophile,
Can't do those roles.
can't be playing a pedophile. Like
He's hiding in plain sight.
Hide in plain sight.
I
It's
guess
like
so.
the Louis C.K. thing where he did like, he would constantly do jokes about him just like masturbating.
Ambassador to Greece says, I love this stuff. I love old stuff. Maybe 14 years ago, I saw Chelsea Peretti open for a not yet massive John Mulaney. And Chelsea Peretti, who I definitely not heard of at the time, had did stool fucking jokes. And she was like, a lot of comedians use the stool to act out sex if they don't have good jokes. So I'm just going to start doing that. So she was like just standing at the stool. Like, so I was fucking this guy. She just like stands at the stool. She's like, and then it got crazy. She turned around. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No. Fuck. I think I'm going to watch this stupid Joe Rogan thing. But he's got to not be funny.
Listen, I'm a huge UFC guy. Like, there's parts of Joe Rogan that I can enjoy, but there's other parts that I can't.
I think Joe Rogan is interesting.
He's a fascinating person.
Fascinating person. Has had a fascinating career.
Yeah, I don't think about two things that are very, very hot button issues at all times. And every day I set the world record for not thinking about them are gender and Joe Rogan. Everybody is yelling about gender when it's like, me and my friends don't sit around fucking yelling about it the way that like you guys are all so fucking mad about like people just wanting to have like bathrooms
because
like,
you
be cool to people and let them
people
go
with lives.
Yes,
just normal fucking people.
So we don't. I think the people think like libs sit around being like, all right, let's talk about gender. Like we fucking don't. Just like let people be who they are. Be fucking cool. That's that. The other thing is like, oh, so Joe Rogan can't say blah, blah. Like, I don't fucking know Joe Rogan. I don't think about that guy.
I don't think about Joe Rogan. I don't really care about Joe Rogan. I don't think Joe Rogan is particularly funny, but I've listened to his show because he has long interviews with people that I do care about.
I listen to Joe Rogan. Like I quite often listen to them when we take flights because I'll find a comedian that I like, and like a lot of the good comedians, like he'll say crazy shit, and then it'll just be like I love why am I blank? Bill Burr when he's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? He just like will do that all the time. He's like, what are you talking about? But
I also like do like some of the like holy shit, like what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah,
some of that shit is like funny to me.
Yeah, I mean
that's when I think that he's funny. He's not trying to be funny, but he says some weird shit, and he thinks that he's like an expert on fucking everything, which is crazy to me.
Everything I've heard about Joe Rogan is that he's like one of the nicest people ever, and he like takes great care of his friends and the people in his life, and also. Like, I love UFC. If you're a UFC person, though, and you watch UFC with Joe Rogan on it, pay particular attention to when someone gets kicked in the leg, because he loves, like, someone will get kicked in the leg, and then, like, once, and immediately he'll be like, oh, his leg's ruined. His legs, he can't stand on it. It's ruined. And it's just the funniest thing ever to me.
So somebody says Joe is a fantastic interviewer. I will say this about Joe Rogan as an interviewer. I think that his interviews can be very interesting. He does something that drives me crazy as an interviewer.
Dips during the interview?
No. And
That
it's something
drives me
that
crazy.
it's something that like I say going into all of our interviews. Make sure you listen. Make sure you participate in the conversation, which is listen to what they're saying. Joe Rogan just monologues and a lot of interviewers do this. Like they just monologue while their guest sits there and occasionally chimes in with good stuff. So that's going to be interesting. But I'm like, Joe, we're there for this person.
My rebuttal to that would be I don't think he views himself as an interviewer. Like I think he literally just gets people he likes and finds interesting and just wants to talk to them.
That's actually true. Yeah. It's
like I love his producer, Jamie. Very good at his job. And also he's very like Joe will say something and then he'll look it up and he's like, it doesn't look like that's true.
Somebody says
all the time.
Somebody says Joe is a good interviewer because he makes everyone around him sound like a fucking genius.
He does do that. He is a big I agree with the last person I had on my podcast guy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Big time.
I recommend everybody just search Tim Heidecker, Joe Rogan. Tim Heidecker has a show called Office Hours, which is great. He did an episode of Office Hours a couple of years ago in which he just did an episode of Joe Rogan, and he dresses like him, talks like him, has a big Fuddruckers sign behind him, so it looks like it. He has 2 guests, and it is 11 hours, 54 minutes, and 55 seconds long, and it's just, obviously, it's probably edited together, but it just looks like one thing for 12 hours, them sitting down having the stupidest conversation, and it's so dry and it's fucking amazing. There's like a 20-minute part where one of his guests is explaining that there's a part of the day that's like the awake part, and then where your brain is like thinking about food and looking at things and doing all these things, and there's this part of the day where your brain is resting and you're just like asleep. But they stretch that out for like 20 minutes. And Tim Heidecker is just like, yeah, it's so fucking crazy you mentioned that because it just feels so much like a Joe Rogan thing. So that's the last thing I'll say on Joe Rogan. I'm glad we got here. Bill Maher with the Hawk Tuah girl is the height of making somebody look like a genius. This poor fucking Hawk Tuah girl, man. She's doing all these appearances. Seems like, and I don't say this in I don't know how old this girl is, but seems like a cute kid who's just like having fun, doesn't seem to be making any trouble. And she's doing all these appearances with all these different places. The Bill Maher thing with him fucking smoking his joint, which what a fucking asshole he is.
I can't stand
for
him.
He's the worst.
insisting that he smoke a joint for every episode, including Steve-O, who was like, hey, for my sobriety, I actually I'm so bad. I can't even be around it. So if you just if you can not smoke while I'm on the show. And Bill Maher was like, all right, never mind then. Like that, what
Bill
a
Maher
fucking.
It just sounds like you're trying to be Joe Rogan.
Image, I need the image of myself smoking a fucking joint. Get a fucking friend, loser. But the clips of him with the Hawk Tuah girl, holy shit.
I mean, he is such a loser.
Agreed.
He is such a loser. It could not be more obvious. He's so painfully unfunny, too. Like his monologue stuff. I watched one episode of Real Time with Bill Maher because who was on it? Somebody was on it that I was really, really interested in.
Ben Affleck?
No, I watched it. So I've watched that one. There was a recent-ish one too that I watched it, but no. It was just so painfully unfunny. But I also have to say, like, I do not understand the Hawk Tuah girl thing. I get the original clip. It was a funny internet thing. I do not understand how, like, she's getting these, nothing that she's done since then has been interesting at all.
But I don't think that she's like trying to push it. I think she's trying to like grab a check if she can get it.
Yeah, that's
but
what I was
she's
gonna say.
not like.
I don't hold it against her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not holding any of
People
this
should not
against
be
her.
giving her a
I
platform.
don't understand how she keeps getting things
Yeah, I
based off
agree.
of not being interesting.
I don't understand it at all. Go get your money. I respect the hell out of that. If people are going to keep being stupid, take their money. But
Right.
I don't understand why anybody is like for what and for why.
Also, my strengths, if I have them, do not necessarily fall into things like set design. I would rather trust somebody else to things like that. I am distracted when I watch Bill Maher at how bad that shot is.
It's
So
like,
it's not the
angled
set,
down
but it's
a little bit too.
It just
the
makes
camera.
it look so. It looks like I texted this to you. It looks like a smaller and tighter version of what we would do when we would just sit in your house for brunch episodes.
Yeah,
Where like all we had was like a small wall and a couple of chairs.
I think that I get the intention of it. It wants to be like dark and cozy and like comfortable and like very casual, but it is executed so poorly and it's uncomfortable to watch.
Love of Your Life says that racist white people like the Hawk Tuah girl. Why would they like her?
They do. I don't know. It's
She has an accent?
Southern white girl.
I probably because they're all incels and they see a woman who is willing to talk about sex even the littlest bit and they're like,
I was gonna say like that
Yes.
is that's like barely talking about it.
I know. I think they just like, yeah, they're losers. They're weird and they're losers. That's why.
Man, but him doing the like, so you say like the Hawk Tuah thing, the spitting on the pee. You're talking about spitting on the pee, and you got it from watching porn, right? And I'm like, you're talking to a fucking kid, man.
Yeah, that's so weird.
And I wouldn't say that to
I
anybody.
I haven't seen any of those clips. I've saw that he sat down with her. Haven't watched any of them. That is so uncomfortable.
So bad. So like, if we're doing, we don't need to power rank the controversial hosts, but man, Bill Maher. Like, if Bill Maher put out a special right now, I'd say I'm not even hate watching that.
Also, who consumes Bill Maher?
That was my question. Is like, does he pay to keep that on TV?
Somebody recently said that we were talking about watching stuff, and they were like, honestly, I only watch sports, occasionally Bill Maher, and that's it. And I was like, that's the first time I've heard somebody. I wasn't like, whoa, what's wrong with you? But I was just like, I've never heard somebody say they watch Bill Maher before.
If somebody told me they watched Bill Maher, the last thing I'd want to do is extend that conversation. Like, I wouldn't want to find anything out about it. I would just be like,
this is a functioning good person. Wild.
Sure. But that's because I don't know why they watch Bill Maher. Like, if I like you and you say you watch Bill Maher, the last thing I'm going to do is want to dig into that.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Like, you don't want to have the conversation about Bill Maher.
You don't want to find out why.
I just don't want to dig into, because either like, I don't want to know anything about that. Just live your life privately, I guess.
A lot of Trump merch has the Hawk Tuah stuff on it. That I totally believe. Though those folks are down bad. They just survived an assassination attempt, and they still feel like they're grasping at straws for what can we rally around. Folks, like, you have material. What's wrong with you? Right now they're on Tim Walz got a DUI one time. Folks, they gotcha. Okay? Like, Harris and Walz gotcha. They just do. They're more appealing to the average human being. And I'm not saying that in celebration of either of those two, but like, it just fucking is what it is. Think of something better than look at this mugshot, which I am very, very, very anti-DUI. Cool mugshot.
Cool mugshot, and also hasn't drank alcohol since.
Right, it's an example of somebody getting better as a person. I love humans like that.
Same.
So that's politics. You thought you could get through a show. Whoa, we did a long show.
Did you see the RFK thing with the dead bear?
I haven't gone down that hole at all.
The fact that like that came up on my thing and I just like didn't have the energy to consume it explains how exhausting politics are. Or every 3-day cycle.
I was like, I don't have to. RFK is not relevant to this. So
RFK is pure comedic relief to me. Crazy, like the story is insane. He left a dead bear in Central Park.
He dumped the carcass in Central Park, right?
Yeah. Well, see, he had a broken bike that he needed to throw away, and he came across a dead bear, and he was going to take it home to skin it and eat it, I believe. But then he had to leave. He had to go on a flight, and obviously couldn't take a dead bear with him. So he went to Central Park and dumped the bear and the bike there, and was like, it would be amusing to people if they saw it and thought somebody hit it with a bike, which is in of itself crazy. But also, if I saw a dead bear in Central Park, A, I wouldn't be amused. I'd be sad. And then I would immediately think,
Is there
are
a
there
bigger
fucking
bear?
bears in Central Park? Because that's so concerning. And then yeah, he has a little dead worm in his brain, which is
Yeah.
the craziest shit ever.
We did a Hawk 2-hour show. Pretty cool.
Oh my god.
Pete, could you spike these fuckers?
Yes. It is time for the like spike. If you have been here and you're still here, please hit that like button right below the video player. Helps us jump those numbers. And if you could subscribe on YouTube, that would be very helpful as well. I saw Stan earlier in the chat said 10,000 subscriber gets to be my best man at the wedding, which I love that idea.
Yes, I'm down for that. Get us to 10,000.
I can't wait until some like audio listeners are going on the app and they see it's 2 hours long and they're like, oh yeah, hell yeah, long what chaos today.
We got a big hockey show
and
today.
they listen to it and they're like,
What we miss about hockey? Can't really think of anything. So Hawk to a girl.
yeah,
I can't wait to make the show art Hawk to a girl front and center.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Hawk Tuca. Am I right? Get some Hawk Tua puns in the chat. All right, appreciate everybody. And yeah, follow us on, like I said, our socials have been kind of not dead, but let's say
Less active.
smoking pot.
Hibernating
on the set.
like RFK's bear.
Yeah, but that's coming back, as is everything. But make sure you subscribe to everything, and YouTube, as always, please hammer the YouTube. We appreciate you. We have a couple of things planned for next week, I believe, including
We're watching that
a
stupid
review
movie.
of that movie with. Did we say?
Be fair. We don't know that it's stupid yet.
Yes, exactly.
It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
I mean,
Pete's
long.
starting
we
off on a
know
bad
that
trip.
it's
Good pack a
stupid.
punch.
We know that it's stupid. We
Pop
don't know that
Star
it's
is under
stupid.
90 minutes. Pop Star is under 90 minutes.
Pop star.
Pop Star. All right. Bye, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.